Hello, hello, hello. Welcome again to yet another episode of the Unmasked Podcast. Give it up. Enough of all that. Thank you. Your appreciation is much noted. Once again, is your host, C.Harrison Nails, your boy, the lover of your soul, the one here to rip off the Band-Aid because you're too pussy to do it. Tonight, I want to kind of continue on what I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago, I touched on the issue of how to address this rape culture, patriarchal, toxically patriarchal, I want to add, in my opinion, and kyriarchal, which I just learned today. I ain't even going front. Kyriarchal, which means a system designed to oppress others. Nature of our society and how to address it, specifically talking on the issue of men, their identities, and how it plays into the gender inequity. Notice I said inequity and not inequality, and I'll get into why I made that distinction in just a moment. Fellas, we have a problem. We have a really serious problem when it comes to what exactly is we're supposed to be fucking doing as men. Traditionally, I know that it has been an issue of trying to figure out whether or not to move in the classic order of manhood, which is I'm the breadwinner, what I say go, it's a man's world, we have the final say, shut up or I'll belt you. There's an issue with that. There's a serious issue with that, and I'm going to explain why there's an issue with that. It hasn't been working. When we have 94% of women in the entertainment industry saying that they've been sexually harassed, assaulted, abused, molested, stalked, raped, that's an issue. When in 2018, it's been established as a statistic now, and you can look this up on Uniform Crime Reports, that 90% of domestic violence perpetrators, not victims, perpetrators, 90% male. What the fuck are we doing? Like, really? What the hell's going on? I pose to you this issue, and this, again, I always come at it from a first-hand perspective. I used to be that way. I very much used to be that way. And it didn't get me anywhere personally. And I don't see how it would get anyone anywhere else of substance, I should say, of true satisfaction and substance and, what's the word? Fulfillment. How about that? Where you feel respected, you feel good about what you're doing, and the people around you that you associate with and relate with feel good about, the direction that your life is taking. Here's what I'm driving to the point. When we, as men, continue to subscribe to these, in some cases, outdated and in many cases, toxic forms of masculinity and manhood and what it means to be a man in this society, and we're supposed to have the best jobs and the best cars and the best houses. And it's not to say that those things aren't to be sought after. But what I am posing is that we have become unhinged in our pursuit of these things because we believe that that is what drives our significance as men. That's what makes our mark. If we became the CEO, if we got the great car, landed the huge account, and screwed as many women as we could possibly think of, then that's our role. And then even in other cases, as being the good father, you want to be the good father, and you might not necessarily know how to be the good father, the one who's loving and supportive and nurtures his kids, as well as the mother does, from a man's perspective. And that actually touches on the whole issue of the gender inequity versus gender inequality. The reason why I made that distinction in the beginning of the podcast is that you don't actually want gender equality. That is to say that whatever man that everything that the man gets, the woman should get. The exact same thing, quantity wise. Here's the issue with that. Men and women are still on a fundamental level different. And that's not to say that there isn't an issue of those differences being exploited and used as a point of discrimination. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you give a woman everything that a man has, absolutely everything that a man has, she might not need all of that. Why I'm speaking on gender equity is that the same values are placed on both genders. Meaning, if a woman comes to work and she has a degree, a man and a woman are up for an engineering degree and up for an engineering position, they both have engineering degrees, they both have similar backgrounds. That means that equal value is placed on each of them. Equal value is placed on each of them. Right? That doesn't mean that women are supposed to be able to go into the men's locker room or vice versa. That's what inequality is. Like, whatever the man has, the woman has. Okay, the man has a bathroom that he can go into. The women should be able to go into the men's bathroom. No. But and equity should be that both the men's and women's bathrooms should be properly stocked, well maintained, properly kept up after, properly cleaned for men and women. Their locker room should be to the same standard, but also designed with the needs of the genders in mind. There shouldn't be urinals in the women's bathroom, right? There shouldn't be the little trash cans for throwing out your tampons and your liners and stuff like that in the men's bathroom. That's not what I'm talking about. That's equality. You don't need that, but you do want equity to where both genders are held to the same, are both cultivated and held to the same standard. Back to the original point of men and your identity. Why are we facing an identity crisis right now? I'm glad you guys asked, because it's a pretty big answer. We're facing an identity crisis right now because we are at a point in human history where it is being proven more and more consistently, more and more effectively, that the traditional social mores that form and line the structure for for masculinity, they're starting to not apply. They're starting to fray at the edges. They're starting to look tired. They're starting to look like they don't work. And we have held on to it for so long that for it to not be working, it is driving us crazy. And we try to smoke it away, fuck it away, drink it away, work it away, and it's not working. Shout out to Salon for that, by the way. I use that a lot, actually. What I'm noticing is that we are getting hung up on these things. We're getting hung up on these notions of what it is to be a man, and we have almost have blinders on where we say, no, it has to be this because it has to work this way because that's all I've ever known. That's how my dad did it. That's how I heard my dad did it. That's how I heard my grandpa did it. That's how I heard my brothers did it. And the dudes on the street. But guess what? They're all hurting and they're all falling short. And what's happening is without new examples coming into play and saying, hey, not only am I living this, let me show you how I got here. For a man to be able to come along and say that to other men, it exemplifies and shows a level of clarity, a level of vulnerability, a level of maturity, a level of integrity, a level of communication that unfortunately a lot of men don't have much practice in. And I'm not even going to use that as a comparison to how women have been more classically brought up and raised and trained to have more emotional outlets, this, that, and the third. And that's not to say that's not true. It's absolutely true, but I'm not using that as a, kind of like pity party or he said, she said. I'm not using it. I'm not using any of this to garner any sympathy for us as men at all, from other men or from women, to be quite honest with you. What I'm saying is that, men, if you're going to get anywhere, if you are going to truly find satisfaction, and some of this actually goes for the women too, because we're at a point in time where both genders need to evolve. Women, I would love for you guys to become more unapologetic, without fear of rejection, without fear of retaliation, without fear of slander, without fear of injury on any level, social, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual. I would love for that. I would love for that. Man, I'd like for you guys to find who the hell you are, really and truly, and then learn to be okay with that. You were in the hood and you like painting? Motherfucker, paint. Seriously. You like wearing purple? Figure out a way to wear it. It's just a color. Shit. I got some purple ties. I think I look sexy as hell in them. You know? Learn how to freak what you do. Learn your lane. Learn all of it. Learn all of it. Not just the parts that you feel comfortable with or the parts that the cats around you accept. Learn all of who you are. Take the time. Stop. Go into your room. Go back to your house. Sit in your car. Ask yourself the question, what is it that I truly like? What have I not exposed myself to? Watch the answers come. Pay attention to what happens around you. Watch the answers come. And you'll know it because you'll resonate with it. It'll put a smile on your fucking face. It'll make you feel full. It'll make you feel confident. It'll make you feel wise. It'll make you feel that true type of powerful. Not this, I'm going to just get as much cash as possible. I'm going to drive the hottest ride, and I'm going to live in the fattest crib. I'm going to date and fuck the chick who got the fattest ass and the biggest tits and who will suck dick the best. Nah. You got to go beyond that. Go beyond that. And once you have your real identity, you'll be able to make wiser and better and more efficient decisions about what you do and don't do. It won't be just this shooting on dark. Well, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that, maybe I'll try this. This here that I do, this is one of two things that I do, and I do well with excellence. This here, talking, sharing my viewpoint, I do that with excellence. Security is another industry that I'm in. I do that with excellence. As a matter of fact, it's so good, I barely even have to try. I just walk into the room and they're like, oh shit, all right, I'm in line. I'm going to stay in line. And those of you that know me personally or have seen me around, you know that I'm telling the truth. So I use all those examples to say, first and foremost, acknowledge. Acknowledge the fact that there is an issue. All right, that's the first step to getting to a solution to a problem, is to acknowledge that there is a problem. There is an issue. I could probably put 1,000 guys in a room and ask them to raise their hands if they think they would be okay being treated like women get treated in this country, or in society in general. And I bet you hardly a hand would be raised. I bet you. Because most men, when you stop and have them focus on it, they know that women get treated like shit. They know that women get treated unfairly. They know that women get bullied and shamed and guilted into doing and saying stuff that they would rather not want to do. And my question to the men is, why the hell would we feel so entitled as to put another human being through that? Remember that these people, these other human beings, they are someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's cousin, someone's aunt, someone's niece. Then stop and remember the fact that you have a mother, or you might have sisters, or you might have nieces, or aunts. And think to yourself out loud, would I want this woman in my life that I love to be treated like I know other women get treated? And if the answer to that is no, and I'm going to be quite honest with you, it should damn well better be no. Otherwise, you're just on the wrong side of history. If the answer to that question is no, then you follow it up with this question. What can I do to change it? What can I do to make sure that neither I nor men that I know are perpetrators or advocates for that way of treatment? We live in an age where you can learn about virtually anything at the at the tap of the screen, or a voice command. Hey Google, let me learn more about the male identity crisis. Hey Google, let me learn more about women's issues. Let me learn more about better intergender communication. Let me learn more about me, about my interests, about those things that make me a wonderful person. And watch what you find. Watch what you learn. You are not helpless. They always say men are able to go and do. Okay, here's a challenge then. Men and even women, go and find out. If you have too many I don't knows to these questions, go and find out. Go and search, and I promise you, from first-hand experience, I promise you this. It will be worth your time, it will be worth your effort, and it will be worth the results that you see. It'll be worth the results that you see. I promise you on that. So, with all that being said, here you are, a man or a woman if you're listening in 2018. And if you're a man, you might be saying to yourself one of two things upon listening to this. Man, fuck this motherfucker. You don't know what he's talking about, man. I get mine. And if that's you, I want you to stop and look around and see what type of growth and what type of life you are instilling in your situations around you, and in your relations with others, and in your own personal growth. And if you can honestly say, and this requires a lot of honesty, it requires a lot of being okay with answers that maybe you'd rather not get. If you can honestly say that you are not seeing growth, and you're not seeing advancement, and you're not seeing peace, and you're not seeing joy, you're not seeing satisfaction, you're not seeing fulfillment, I suggest you figure out how to change that. I suggest you figure out, maybe come back and listen to this again and say, well, maybe he's on to something, because I did what he said and I saw that I'm not really going anywhere. So, yeah, maybe you might want to do that. If you're the other type of man and you're saying, you know what, this makes a lot of sense, I'm going to look into it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Because then you'll be taking steps towards being part of the solution and not being part of the problem by virtue of omission, not being the problem by virtue of ignorance, and definitely not being a problem by virtue, part of the problem by virtue of perpetuation. I believe that's the word. Don't quote me on that. Perpetuation. Perpetual. Keeping it going. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Leave me alone. Anyways, if you're a woman listening to this, the first thing that I would love to tell you is that if you or somebody that you know needs to talk about what it means to live life unapologetically, to figure out how to find her true voice or her true face, her true essence, I'm definitely one to try and help. And this is an invitation to the men as well. If you're anybody out there, or anybody that out there knows, needs help, I am a life coach, and I do help with specifically fulfillment, identity, and relationships. Everything that I just talked about in this podcast, I promise you. And what I would love to do is see where you're at and sit you down and hit you with some hard-ass questions that are going to lead to some golden-ass answers. And those answers are going to help break you down and build you back up with a better foundation and a better understanding, and it's going to fill some holes. If you already have a decent foundation, it's going to help fill some holes that you have. So for the women that already have it, I'm going to speak to the two different types of women, just like I spoke to two different types of men. For the women who already have some basic understanding of who they are, but still have apprehensions about living that life because their family doesn't understand, because the men in their life feel threatened by it, or because you've been harassed or been threatened for trying to do that. Let me first and foremost apologize. It's not your fault that you are who you are, and you owe nobody anything for that, for being who you are. If you are naturally assertive or aggressive, you have nothing to apologize for. If you are better at the CEO position than the next guy, you have nothing to apologize for, and you have nothing to back down. You have no reason to back down from it. You take it. If it's yours, then it'll be yours. Right? If you're qualified, you take it. Hands down, bar none. And if it's yours, then if it's meant to be yours, then you'll get it. And to be damned with anybody who disagrees or has an issue with it because you're a woman, or because you're talented, or because you're intellectually sharp, or emotionally well-suited. Those are things that are supposed to be celebrated, not looked at as threats. And I say that to both genders. For the woman who doesn't have much of an idea of her voice, and it's still kind of floating out there in the dark, there is a way out. And the way out is bright, and the way out is solid. And I would love to be able to help you with that. That's going to lead me into what I should have done in the beginning, which is put all my contact info out there. Duh. on Facebook, on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Instagram. You can find me all under the same name, C.Harrison Nails. Email also, charrisonnails@gmail.com. By all means, hit me up. Let me know what it is that you need, and I will do my best to make sure that it happens. I promise you that. Let me see. Anything else? Probably not. I think I've spoken my piece for now for this week. So, until then, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all, and the best life is one that is lived with no mask on. Learn how to take yours off, and I am here to help. So C.Harrison Nails, and I think that's a wrap. Talk to you guys next week, okay?